all dynasty names, but I guarantee you this will be the easy one. Tang, Tang Dynasty. It was such a golden age. Overseas Chinese named after their community, Tangrenjie, Tang People Street. You probably enjoy a stroll in Chinatown of your city, but I guarantee you this is the real thing. The capital of Tang Dynasty, Xi'an, then known as Chang'an.
Together with Athens, Rome, and Cairo, Xi'an is claimed as one of 4 leading and still living capitals of ancient civilizations in the world. It was from Chang'an in the Han Dynasty that Emperor Zhang Qian set out on his long journey to the west and opened the Silk Road, which extended as the longest during Tang Dynasty, when Chinese ancient civilization is considered reached its most glorious. Xi'an served as the capital of 13 dynasties for an aggregated time of over a millennium. Today, it still retains striking marks of ancient majesty. Interesting enough, the family that ushered China into its zenith in ancient time was actually of Xianbei and Han mixed origin. The preeminent emperor Li Shimin, known for his military and political ingenuity, worldly open-mindedness, led Tang China into a golden period when Chang'an became the biggest and most prosperous city in the world. The Tang Dynasty's economic strength enabled it to open its door with confidence to foreign people, commodities, ideology, culture, and lifestyles. Fueled by an insatiable appetite for foreign exotica, new products were introduced to China from the West, but the real benefits are less tangible. It fires imagination to find that other thoughts can be different from one's own, and exchange of ideas enriches the content of a culture rather than endangers its identity. The artwork from Tang Dynasty reflects China's multicultural flavor at the time and looks more colorful and grandiose and almost exotic. The famous tricolor glazed pottery, an exquisite art form that combines ceramics and sculptures, was invented in this period.
Most people take the name Tang tricolor pottery literally. They thought there are 3 colors can be found on those beautiful pieces. But actually, if you take a look at it closely, there are more than 3 colors, because according to Chinese philosophy, 1 gives birth to 2, 2 creates 3, and 3 symbolizes world. So actually 3, you should consider it multi, so plural form. So better call it Tang multicolored pottery, I guess.
As the most advanced and prosperous city in the world, Chang'an was also the least discriminating place to foreigners in world history. Anything foreign or alien was labeled Hu at the time, as distinction from Han Chinese. At the governmental institutions, Hu people enjoyed equal career opportunities as local Chinese. In fashion world, the Hu vogue spread through China and remained dominant for a lengthy period of time. Foreign culture also made a great contribution to the cultural splendor of the Tang Dynasty, particularly within the performance arts. In the early Tang Dynasty, there were 10 musical and dance programs popular in the palace, 7 of which were from the western regions and abroad.
Another foreigner, all the way from Persia, a dancing horse. According to history record, this was a gift by a merchant from Persia to the Emperor Xuanzong for his birthday party. Apparently, the horse is intelligent enough to know when to stop. As soon as the music stops, it kneels down to the emperor and tribute a glass of wine, celebrate the birthday to the emperor. Of course, he won the favor of the emperor.
Constant exposure and exchange of new ideas and concepts nurtured an open and culturally tolerant city. Nothing could make a real Chang'an citizen easily raise his eyebrows. Daring fashion, interracial marriage, or even had China's first only empress ruling the country. In China's federal tradition, women always had a lower social and familial status than men. That was fundamentally changed, and women of the Tang Dynasty were fortunately not to live at a time characteristic by open-mindedness and liberal ideas.
We all know camera puts 5 pounds. It wouldn't be my concern if I lived in this golden area, Tang Dynasty, when everyone, male and female, enjoy their refined living without much restraints. Women celebrate their curved and feminine figure to show their pride and confidence. Always chins up. I mean, at that time, double chin.
Living within a relaxed social environment and having an independent social status, the behavior of independent, well-educated Tang women was obviously quite different from that of the women of former dynasties. Xi'an was the first city in the world to introduce urban planning. With grid patterned street roads running north and south, east and west, the grids created by streets were designed to meet at a right angle, optimizing the traditional Chinese aesthetic concept of balance and harmony.
Earthy, solid, a little bit square. It's almost like my impression about local people here.
Today's city wall was rebuilt 600 years ago based on Tang Dynasty structure. Standing at 12 meters tall, stretching over more than 13 kilometers, it is a monument of Xi'an's history itself. As the most important city fortification in ancient time, the city wall circled the entire inner city in a rectangular shape, with only 4 gates opening up in 4 directions, controlling all comings and goings.
The city wall used to serve as a division line dividing the emperor's residence and officials' office area. Today, more like an intersection linking the ancient park and the modern vibrant society.
The Great Mosque, the center of Xi'an Muslim spiritual life, is tucked away at a quiet corner of the busy old town. people were known for their sophisticated understanding of the outside world and a great confidence in adapting and assimilating foreign ideas into Chinese context. The Grand Mosque architecture clearly embodies both Chinese and Islamic features. Islam was introduced to China via the Silk Road and sea trade routes by Arabs during the 7th century. The first official record of Islam's arrival in China occurred during the Tang Dynasty, when a companion Muhammad called Sabin Aba Waqas was sent as official envoy to Emperor Gaozong in 651. The emperor drew parallels between the religion and the teachings of Confucius and ordered the establishment of this mosque in Chang'an, the very first mosque in China.
Of course, I'm not allowed to enter. I guess for non-Muslims, especially women, mosques always appear to be extremely mysterious. But you listen to the prayer, sounding so peaceful and soothing. I guess I started believing the power of prayer. Believing the good, believing in peace.
Muslims came to dominate foreign trade in China during the Song Dynasty. As immigration slowed during the Yuan and Ming dynasties, they became increasingly integrated into Chinese society. Locally known as a Hui minority, Xi'an Muslims today are descended from the Arab and Iranian traders who were active along the Silk Road. Identified with their unique lifestyle and religion, Islam, they are the living reminders of Xi'an's former busy street scene as a center of commerce.
I don't know about you, I love the night when everybody have hair down, most relaxed, don't really need to make a living, just go a little bit shopping and food.
Gestated under its ancient look, the city's mobile energy and strong modern pulse is hard to be ignored.
长河将吃碗，把大掌控鸭子般进驻，逆与牛，鳄与牛，逆与长，瓜子勾着瓜马头，个个缺缺有四方。
就是你这个嘛，怎么念？
这个字念表，这个字念表，表表面的表。念表这个字念表，这个字念表表面的表字，这是在康熙字典里头也能查到的。哎，这个字就是下面的时候那个声音，面片掉到里头那个声音是“表”一下的，这叫表表面的表字。你也写一个字
啊？行，我也试试啊。才。The last stroke is always the most difficult. Well, that's all I can write. It means study. That's what I need. 表表面表表面。
To learn about history, most likely you have no other choice by reading hefty history books. In Xi'an, you have a better option to read more hefty ones in the so-called Stone Library. Museum was converted from a Confucius temple in 11th century originally and became the treasure house for the art of calligraphy. Calligraphy, together with painting, music, and Chinese chant, are considered to be one of the basic skills and disciplines of Chinese literacy. It's believed to polish one's skill of calligraphy is also an important means for cultivating one's mind.
Since the first day I practiced calligraphy, this used to be the Mecca, still with forest, always want to pay the visit. But I only focus one side, the so-called front page of steplet, but only when I visit here I realize it is a three-dimensional art form. Yin-yang side means front and back, both worth a good look at it. And also, look at those. The head of steplet features very auspicious animals and patterns. And even those sides, look at this. It's considered to be a very unique pattern. You cannot find it nowhere else. And don't forget also, bow down and notice those detailed ornaments on the steplet base.
Stone Library deserves its name because of rubbing, which makes it possible for one to take a book home. Printing technique was still in primitive stage in Tang Dynasty, so rubbing from cities engraved with classics was the next best solution to spread original work for learning and practicing purposes.
Rubbing duplicates are the only things we can take home from this treasure house of calligraphy. But for calligraphy fans, it's also valuable. It's like a Bible you should practice after. Models are millions though. Choices are unlimited. Maybe I start with Song style. Maybe this is easy.
For fortune, adventure, career opportunities, or just a refined lifestyle, people from all over the world flock to Chang'an through the Silk Road. Buddhism came to China through Silk Road in Han Dynasty, 600 years prior to Tang. As a foreign cultural import, it also went through a process of localization and eventually evolved into the national religion during the Tang Dynasty. The Big Goose Pagoda is an example of this adaptation. Original Indian stupa was built in the form of square pyramid, catering to the Chinese ascetic tradition.
What a journey, starting from capital city Chang'an through the Silk Road to West China and West Asia, through countries like Uzbekistan, Afghanistan, Pakistan, Nepal, and of course, landed in a Buddhist Mecca, India. What a journey, huh? Most of us dream of exotic trip like this, but what do we bring home? Probably nothing more than some pictures to draw and home video to that. But at that time, through so many years of hard work, Xuanzang returned home as one of the greatest thinkers, Buddhist readers, translators, and of course, known as also one of the greatest travelers of all time.
Religious freedom made the establishment and spread of Buddhism, Taoism, Islam, and even Christianity possible in China in Tang Dynasty. Among them, Buddhism stayed as a primary religion. Tang Dynasty's culture flourishes in part has to thank the fact that Chang'an became a Buddhist learning center, to which monk Xuanzang is known as one of the biggest contributors.
What a nice place to rest in peace. But Master Xuanzang wasn't initially buried here. It says he was buried in Bailuyuan, somewhere close to the palace. But every time an emperor saw the pagoda, he was too sad. So finally, they chose to move this pagoda here, overlooking the plain and standing by the mountain, much better place to rest in peace.
In ancient feudal society, the rate of population increase was an important indicator of economic strength and social progress of a country. In the early Tang Dynasty, the Chinese population was less than 18 million. 100 years later, in 755, the population had reached 52 million. This 100-year period later became known as a Tang of great prosperity.
The capital of 13 dynasties, Chang'an may have reached its climax during Tang Dynasty, but you can see the glory still remains. Today, the city of ancient trees still nurture 7 million people. That's what we call history still breathing to the present. That's why we're looking to the history. Hopefully, you also have enjoyed this trip as much as I did. The Tang Dynasty Travelogue Special. I'm Yan Ling. Thanks for watching. Enjoy this, and bye.
In the next episode, we continue with the Tang Dynasty to Kashgar to retrace the steps of the old Silk Road.